Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Jalpa Mataji, Prabhakar Prabhu, and
Hare
Roma.
Krishna Mataji.
Nice of you to join today. It's Saturday and it's Friday today, and Ekadashi also. So, have you been able to keep the fast today so far? Till tomorrow around 6:20 in Coimbatore. So, let's begin by paying humble obeisances to the beautiful deities of Sri Sri Radha Govinda Temple, and also to Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, his disciple, His Holiness Jayapadaka Swami Guru Maharaj, and Temple President, His Grace Namnishtha Das, and my Guru, Aishwarya Mataji. So Aishwarya Mataji has said that we don't share the slides from the level 2. I don't know the reason, some rule, that's the rule it seems. So we don't share the slides. So you could always take screenshots from the YouTube videos also of whichever points you need to. I hope you're doing the quizzes. Let's say the prayer before we start. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhudale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarne Om Ajnana Timran Dasatanajan Shalakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamlam Shri Guru Vaishnavamcha Shri Rupam Sagara Jatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kante Namosure Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Vyasha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we were at the chapter 10 yesterday. I skipped some of the slides with the Prabhupada's lectures because it's getting really long. Today we are going to look at Arjuna's acceptance from 10.12 and what is his request to further describe Krishna. He wants to hear more about the opulences of Krishna. So this whole section C is really long. It is from 10.12 to 10.42. But there aren't like any predominantly deep philosophical concepts. It's just for a devotee to really relish and enjoy the opulences and listen to it. And it's just a rasa. It's just like a bhakti rasa over here. So let's enjoy the beauty of these verses where Krishna starts explaining about himself. Hare Krishna. Okay, Vidya Mataji is also here. Vidya Mataji, you must have seen my reply on I have replied to you on WhatsApp.
Hare Krishna Mataji, yeah, just sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Arjuna accepts Krishna's position and he requests to hear more of his opulences. So this chapter 10, we see how Arjuna will refer to previous authorities. He will say that, so many other in the past also, so many great sages have accepted Krishna to be the all supreme personality of Godhead, and Krishna himself is now declaring that he is a supreme personality of Godhead and he is in control of everything and everything rests upon him. So, and now by his own, Arjuna's own realization also, he is able to confirm that Krishna is indeed the supreme personality of Godhead. And then he prays to Krishna because he is now longing to hear more and more of his glory so that he can always think of him. So this chapter 10 and 11, I have heard that Srila Prabhupada had, he knew chapter 11 very well, and he would just keep reciting it so many times, and frequently he would recite it because it's just about describing Krishna. So it's all about, the descriptions. Both this chapter 10 and 11, we'll find that, just about the glories of Krishna. So it really helps the devotee to keep listening and remembering and thinking of Krishna always. So otherwise, if Krishna is not saying all this, we won't know even this much about him. So God is like just a power. We don't know Krishna and his opulences. So that's what we are going to look into this verse from beginning from 10.12. So first we can see Arjuna is accepting and asking for more. So let's look at 10.12 first, 12 and 13. The verse goes like this. Yeah. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashwatan Divyam Adidevam Vibhum Ahuswam Rishayah Sarve Devarshir Naradastatha Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. So Arjuna is saying, you are the supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode, the purifier, the absolute truth, and the eternal divine person. You are the primal Lord, transcendental and original, and you are the unborn, the Aja, and all pervading beauty. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa proclaimed this of you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So here, what does Krishna accept after listening to the Bhagavad Gita so far? He accepts that Krishna is Param Brahma, the supreme truth. He is Param Dhama, the ultimate abode for any human being. He is Pavitram, the purest, untainted by any material contamination. He is Param Bhavan, absolute truth. He is Purusham, he is the person, supreme person, the supreme enjoyer. He is Shashvatam, eternal. He is Divyam, the transcendental. He is Adi Devam, he is the original Lord, the first Lord. That is the origin. He is Ajam, the unborn. He is Vibhum, the greatest. Krishna is accepted by all acharyas, including great acharyas like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa. And now you yourself are declaring it to me, and I totally accept it as a truth. Neither demigods or demons or anyone can understand Krishna fully because they all actually come from Krishna. There is no way that they can understand him fully. So let's look at 10.14 and 10.15. So this is just for us to just enjoy the glories of Krishna. So 10.14 says, Sarvametadritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidurdevana danavaha. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither gods nor demons, O Lord, know thy personality. Acceptance of Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. So if we really understood the Gita so far, then we also have to be in this mood. If we haven't reached this mood of completely accepting Krishna as a supreme person with all the different descriptions that he has given about his energies and how he is present everywhere within every atom, and he is there right within us, and how he is our best well-wisher and how he is the greatest enjoyer and all these things, if we are not able to feel right now, that means we are not understood. We need to go back. If we have accepted all that Arjuna is saying now, then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita further, and only then we can understand that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. So this is what most Mayavadis, they cannot accept, and they are quick. They never like to mention Krishna when they're talking about the Gita. Gita is in fact fully the description of Krishna, talking about about he being the God, but still they will not accept it. But let's look at 10.15. स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानं वेत्थत्वं पुरुषोत्तम भूतभावन भूतेश देवदेवे देवदेव जगत्पते. So indeed, you alone know yourself. Because neither gods, demons, nobody knows. Only you alone know yourself by your own potencies, O Arjun of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, O Supreme Person, Lord of the universe. So 10.15 is saying, Swayamevatmanatmanam Vethatvam Purushottama Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha Deva Deva Jagatpate. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own potency, O Supreme Lord, God of God. Lord, so I think I've repeated that. 10.16 is वक्तुमर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्भूतभिर्लोकान् इमान् स्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. So we have seen this section now. Arjuna has accepted his greatness and now he is requesting him to tell more about his opulences. So 10.17 says, कथं विद्यामहं योगिन् स्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? So now Arjuna has a strong desire to always remember Krishna. And so Krishna will help him, right? As he will describe, he will make it so easy for all of us, when we see the water, when we drink water, when we see the sun, every time we can remind ourselves of Krishna. So Krishna actually starts giving descriptions and starts helping us to remember him every time, all the time. 10.18, Arjuna is continuing. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutin cha janardana bhuyah kathaya triptirhi shrinvato nasti me mritam. He says, Oh Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So for example, once we start enjoying the listening about Krishna, I have done like level 1 course when COVID began, and I have done it like every month. And for many, almost 1.5 years, I was only doing level 1, level 1. I was going on. It was so I didn't know, what is the reason why I wanted to again and again attend. So many different devotees of ISKCON Mangalore I have attended classes of, including Namisha Prabhu's several times, Aishwarya Mataji's, Ravi Prabhu, so many. So, this desire to keep on listening about Krishna's glories is real grace. It's a blessing that we are able to enjoy and we want to continuously hear. So here we can see that Arjuna is also saying, I'm never satiated. I just want, it's not like it's a new thing, but it sounds new every time. It's the same thing, same story. We want to listen again and again and again. So 10.7, how should I meditate on you and tell me again, for I want to hear about you. So what is this? The opulence of the absolute. Arjuna requests to hear. So please describe the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satiated. I want to taste the nectar of your words. So what is the advantage? What are the advantages of hearing about Krishna's opulences? One is that, the more you keep hearing, so listening, shrinu, the listening, it keeps repeating in the not only in the Bhagavad Gita, but in the Bhagavatam also. They keep on repeating that spiritual knowledge and love for Krishna. One important way that it develops within us is by simply listening, especially from pure devotees. Just listening about Krishna makes a huge, impact. So hearing will increase our remembrance. The more and more we hear, we will remember. We'll be able to always think of Krishna. So by remembering Krishna, you can relish the great nectar, and therefore one is never satiated from hearing about Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.19, Saunaka Rishi also says the same thing. So why Arjuna wanted to hear more about pervading opulences of Krishna? Arjuna is already satisfied with the understanding. Now he has no doubt about Krishna's position. Actually, he never had the doubt, for our benefit. And Arjuna's reasons are, it is for the sake of common people. In 10.17, for the sake of a materialist. For personal absorption, he himself wants to constantly think about Krishna. And finally, the reason is to taste the nectar the nectar of Krishna's words. Krishna in his own, like God is coming and he's telling us, he's explaining, he's telling about himself. And why is he saying that? Because Arjuna is non-envious, because he's a devotee, because he's a friend, he's a well-wisher. So because Arjuna is, a pure devotee of Krishna, that is the reason why Krishna is going to now start accepting and agreeing to what Arjuna is saying. The four reasons are important. One is for us. This whole description is being done for us, for all the common people, also for materialists, so that they also come to know that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. They also are able to at least understand that any person who says I am God cannot be God unless, as you can see in chapter 11, he will show his Vishwarupa. And for personal, Arjuna himself wants to be constantly engaged in listening to him and to taste the nectar. He wants to listen from Krishna's own voice. He wants to listen about Krishna's opulences. So in this section C, actually part of section D, it's mentioned in section D, is the Krishna's opulences, where he'll describe the prominent among. So he says that I'm just going to tell you prominent. So although Krishna is there everywhere, now Krishna is going to explain some of the prominent places of his, the prominent opulences that he has, because he's actually limitless and he's in fact growing more, it's still expanding, all pervading opulences and the names of his opulences. And then he explains that all the opulences, towards the end of the chapter, Krishna says that whatever opulences I have described is actually just a small fraction of my entire glory, because Krishna says that Krishna pervades and supports the entire universe with just a fraction of his total potency. So you can imagine how powerful is Krishna. So in 10.19, Krishna is going to start explaining now. So these verses are very beautiful. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Hantate Kathayishyami Divya Hyatma Vibhutayah Pradhanyatah Kuru Shrestha Nasyanto Vistarasya Me. The Blessed Lord said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent to Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. अहमात्मा गुडाकेशा सर्वभूताशय स्थितः अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च. So I am the super soul, O Arjuna. So here he is referring to Arjuna as Gudakesh. And he says, Sarva Bhuta Shaya Sthita. I am seated in the hearts of all living entities. Aham Adi. I am the beginning. And Aham Adishcha Madhyancha. I am the middle also. And Bhutanam Anta. I am also the Ant, the end of Bhutanam, of all the living beings. Evacha. So I am certainly, I am. Krishna says that Krishna is in the heart of all living beings. Krishna is the beginning, Krishna is the middle, Krishna is the end also of all living beings. Now he describes each one by one. It's nice to memorize these verses and always remember Krishna. In 10.21, Krishna says, Adityanamaham Vishnur Jyotisham Raviram Shoman Marichar Marutamasmi Nakshatranamaham Shashi Vedanam Samavedosmi Devanamasmi Vasavaha Indriyanamanaschasmi Bhutanamasmi Chetana. Of the Adityas, Krishna is Vishnu. Of all the lights, Krishna is the radiant sun. Of all the Maruts, Krishna is Marichi. And among all the stars, Krishna is the moon. Among all the Vedas, Krishna is Samaveda. Among all demigods, Krishna is Indra, the king of heaven. Among all the senses, so senses are the five senses and the mind. So among all the senses, Krishna is the mind. And in the living beings, Krishna is consciousness itself. The living force itself is Krishna. Rudranam Shankarashchasmi Vittesho Yaksha Rakshasam Vasunam Pavakashchasmi Meruhu Shikarinamaham Purudhasam cha Mukhyam Ma Vidhi Partha Brahaspatim Senani Namaham Skandaha Sarasamasmi Sagaraha. Krishna says that of all the Rudras, Krishna is Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, Krishna is the Kuveda, or the Lord of Wealth. Of all the Vasus, Krishna is Agni. Among all the mountains, Krishna is Meru. Of priests, Krishna is the chief Brihaspati. And of the generals, Krishna is Kartikeya. And among the bodies of water, Krishna is ocean. Everything is Krishna, but these opulences are where Krishna is talking about his the brilliance, the majesty. This actually helps us when we look at something very wonderful, then we are able to immediately relate that, okay, this is Krishna. So we are able to immediately, when we think that it is Krishna, then it's very beautiful emotion. So that's what's useful about learning chapter 10 and 11. उच्छ्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनुनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः. So of horses, know me to be Uchchashrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Among lordly elephants, Krishna is Airavata. And among men, Krishna is a monarch. Among weapons, Krishna is Thunderbolt. Among cows, he is Surabhi. Among the causes for procreation, Krishna is Kandarpa, the god of love. And among serpents, Krishna is Vasuki. Each of these have got so many different stories. When we do the Bhagavatam, we will know more and more about each of all these, entities we are listening about. अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहं पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहं प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्. So among the many hooded Nagas, Krishna is Ananta. Among aquatics, he is a demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, Krishna is Aryama, and among dispensers of law, he is Yama. Among Daityas, demons, Krishna is Prahlada. Among subduers, he is Time. And among beasts, he is a lion. Among birds, he is Garuda. पवनः पवतामस्मि रामः शस्त्रभृतामहं चषाणामकरश्चास्मि स्रोतसामस्मि जाह्नवी सर्गाणामादिरन्तश्च मध्यं चैवाहमर्जुन अध्यात्मविद्यानां वादः प्रवदतामहम्. Among purifiers, Krishna is wind. Among wielders of weapon, Krishna is Rama. Among fish, Krishna is shark. And among flowing rivers, Krishna is the Ganges. Among creation, Krishna is the beginning and the end and also the middle. And among the sciences, Krishna is a spiritual science. Among logicians, Krishna is a conclusive truth. Aksharanamakarosmi dvandvah सामासिकस्य च अहमेवाक्षयः कालो धाताहं विश्वतो मुखः मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्तिः श्रीर्वाक् च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिः क्षमा. So among letters, Krishna says that he is a letter A. Among compound words, he is a dual compound. And Krishna is also declaring himself as inexhaustible time. And of creators, Krishna is Brahma. And he is all devouring depth, and he is a generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, Krishna is fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Brihat Sama Tatha Samnam Gayatri Chandasamaham Masana Margashishoham Ritunam Kusumakaraha Dyutan Chalayatamasmi Tejasvinamaham Jyosmi Vyavasayosmi Sattvam Sattvavatamaham. So Krishna says that among the hymns in the Samaveda, he is the Brihat Sam. And among poetry, he is Gayatri. Among months, he is Margashirsha, November, December. And among seasons, he is a flower-bearing spring. Krishna is also the gambling of cheats. He is the splendid, among the splendid, he is a splendor. And he is victory. Krishna is adventure. Krishna is the strength of the strong. So when you see somebody beautiful, you know the beauty comes from Krishna. You see somebody strong, you know their strength comes from Krishna. So the idea of Vasudeva Sarvamiti becomes more and more clear for us. It opens up for us as we keep reading these verses. वृष्णीनां वासुदेवोऽस्मि पाण्डवानां धनञ्जयः मुनीनामप्यहं व्यासः कवीनामुशना कविः दण्डो दमयतामस्मि नीतिरस्मि चिगीषितां मौनचैवास्मि कुः गृह्याणां ज्ञानं ज्ञानतमामहम्. So of the descendants of Vrishni, Krishna says he is Vasudeva, that is Krishna himself. And among the Pandavas, Krishna is Arjuna. Among the sages, he is Vyasa. Among great thinkers, Krishna is Ushana. And among all means of suppressing lawlessness, Krishna is punishment itself. And of those who seek victory, Krishna is morality. And of secret things, Krishna is silence. And of the wise, Krishna is wisdom. I think Ravi Prabhu has posted the attendance, so I request all of you to kindly post attendance. Right. So next we can see in 10.39, Yachapi Sarva Bhutanam. Yeah, so we're in 39. Yachapi Sarva Bhutanam. Bijam tadaham arjuna na tadasti vinad yatsyan maya bhutan characharam nantosmi mama divyanam vibhutanam vibhutinam parantapa esha tu deshatah prokto vibhutir vistaro maya. Further, O Arjuna, Krishna says that he is the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without Krishna. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to Krishna's divine manifestation. What Krishna has spoken to us now, he tells Arjuna that it's all just an indication of his infinite opulences. So this is in the form of a table. This must have also been shown in your level 1. It's just the entire list of things that Krishna describes as his opulences. Among Vishnus, Krishna is Adityas. Among Adityas, Krishna is Vishnu. Among light, he is the sun, Maruts, Marichi, stars, moon, Vedas, Sama, demigods, Indra, senses, mind, living beings, life force or consciousness, Rudras, Lord Shiva, Yakshas and Rakshasas, he is Kuvera, priest, Brahaspati, general, Skanda, bodies of water, ocean, Bhrigu, among sages, Om, among vibrations, chanting of holy name among sacrifices, Himalayas, among the immovable things, among trees, Krishna is Ashwatha, among demigods, Narada, among singers of demigods, Chitraratha, perfected beings or Siddhas, Krishna is Kapila, among horses, Ucha, Shrava, among elephants, Airavata, and so on. So why does Krishna compare himself? Let's look at this. Why is it that Krishna is comparing himself to Samaveda? The mantras of Samaveda are chanted musically, and so they are especially pleasing to the gods more than the mantras of the other Vedas, which is why Krishna is comparing himself to Samaveda, Sama denoting that which is Sama or equipoise or tranquility of the mind. The Samaveda is rich with beautiful songs played by various demigods, and of these songs is the Brihat Samaveda, which has exquisite melody and it is sung at midnight. So these are some explanations of why Krishna is saying all the things he said. So the leader of Yakshas and the Rakshasas is Kuvera. Kuvera is the master treasurer of the demigods and he is a representation of the Supreme Lord, Kuvera. Meru is a mountain which is famed for its rich natural resources. So Krishna says, he talks about Meru. And Indra is the chief demigod of the heavenly planets. He is known as the king of heavens. The planet on which he resides is called Indra Loka. And Indra's priest is Brahaspati. And since Indra is the chief of all kings, Brahaspati is also the chief of all the priests. Himalayas are the greatest mountains in the world, and Mount Meru is sometimes even movable, but the Himalayas are not movable. So among the immovable things, Himalayas are the greatest. So as such, Himalayas are greater than Meru. The banyan tree or Ashwatha is one of the highest and most beautiful trees, and people in India worship one of the daily morning rituals are worshipping Ashwatha, the tree, the banyan tree. Among the demigods, Narada is the greatest devotee in the universe. So Narada is often depicted as someone very, always causing trouble, but actually he is a person who can see very far. He's a seer actually, and he's the greatest devotee of Vishnu and Krishna. So actually he creates more and more devotees. If you read the Bhagavatam, you will see how he is behind Prahlad Maharaj becoming a devotee. He is behind Dhruv Maharaj becoming a devotee. So he is someone who has been creating devotees, and only a pure devotee can do this. Also, we have done the story of Mrigari yesterday, how he has made a hunter who kills, rampantly killing and leaving animals half dead just by Narada Muni's association, because Narada is a pure devotee. His association makes him to turn into a transformed into a totally different person, where he even doesn't want to kill an ant by mistake. So thus, Narada is therefore a representation of Krishna in the devotee as a devotee. The Gandharva planet is filled with entities. They all sing beautifully, but the best singer is Chitraratha. And amongst the perfect living entities, Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is a representative of Krishna. He is considered as an incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Kapila, there is another Kapila also who talks about impersonalism. That is not the one which is being described here. This is a son of Devahuti who is Krishna himself actually. So the next description is about a thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is a mighty weapon, and so among weapons, Krishna says that he's thunderbolt because it represents Krishna's power. In Krishna Loka, cows can be milked at any time, and they can give as much milk as one desires. These are the surabhi. And so Lord is engaged in herding the surabhi cows. Kandarpa is a sex desire for begetting good sons and good children. The sex for sense gratification is not what represents Krishna, but sex for begetting good Krishna conscious children is Krishna. Diti and Aditi are two sisters. The sons of Aditi are called Adityas, and the sons of Diti are the Daityas. All the Adityas are devotees of the Lord, and all the Daityas are atheistic. Prahlad, born in the family of Daityas, as he was a great devotee of Krishna from his childhood, is considered to be the representative of Krishna. As soon as a man is born, he dies every moment, but the last stroke is death itself. And so that is Krishna. Death is Krishna. Of the six basic changes of the living entity, which undergoes birth, growth, then remaining for some time the same way, and then reproducing, then dwindling, and finally vanishing. So, birth or deliverance from the womb is Krishna. The Gayatri mantra mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam is a regulated poetry chanted by the qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent among poetry. As it specially is meant for God realization, it represents the Supreme Lord Himself, and this mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people who, on chanting it, they can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. And this mantra is a sound incarnation of Brahman, its initiator, passed down from him in disciplinic succession. So it's a very important mantra in the Vedic civilization. Grains are collected during November, December, and that is a time when people are therefore very happy. So that happiness and that joy and that auspiciousness and prosperity is because of Krishna. Spring, neither too hot nor too cold. The trees are blooming with flowers and foliage. Many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastimes are celebrated in the spring season. As most joyful of all seasons, therefore, Krishna says that it represents me. The joy and everything represents Krishna. So, please mark your attendance. Among Munis, Vyasa is the greatest, as he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in the Kali Yuga. And Vyasa is also an incarnation of Krishna. So Kavis are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among all the Kavis, Pushana is representative of Krishna. Shukracharya is another spiritual master of the demons, extremely intelligent and a far-seeing politician, and therefore Shukracharya is also a representative of the opulence of Krishna. Nothing happens without Krishna. There is nothing without Krishna. Punishing of the miscreant represents Krishna. The victorious element of victory is morality. Among hearing, thinking, meditating, silence is most important because it helps to progress very quickly. The knowledge of wise who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures, as we have seen in chapter 7, is Krishna. So further from 10.21 to 38, what we heard is that among men, Krishna is the monarch, and among weapons, the Vajra, cows, Surabhi, procreators, Vasuki, serpents, Vasuki, procreators, Kandarpa, snakes, Ananta, aquatic deities, Varuna, among departed ancestors, Aryama, among dispensers of law, Yama, among Daitya, demons, Prahalada, among subduers, time, beasts, lion, birds, Garuda, purifiers, wind, wielder of weapon, Rama, fishes, shark, flowing rivers, Ganga, creation's beginning, middle, and end, sciences, spiritual science, logicians, conclusive truth, letters, the letter A, and compound words, the dual word, and among creators, Brahma. Then among women, he's got all these qualities. Krishna is the qualities in the women like fame, fortune, speech, memory, intelligence, faithfulness, and patience. Among hymns, Brihat Sama, among poetry. I think we've done this already in the previous slides also. Season, spring, cheats, gambling. This table we didn't do. Among the splendid people, the splendor comes from Krishna. Victory, adventure, strong, strength, descendants of Vrishni, Vasudeva, among Pandavas, Arjuna, sages, Vyasa, thinkers, Ushana, punishment, rod of chastisement, victory seekers, morality, secret, silence, and wise wisdom. So Krishna's unlimited opulence is what we have seen in all these verses, which we have gone through today. So it's all just compiled into a table form here. If someone wants to take a screenshot, you can take, or we can take from the YouTube also. So also before we continue further, I wanted to ask those of you who are here whether coming week Thursday, is it possible for you to join instead of 7 o'clock to join at 8 o'clock? Because I have my Bhakti Shastri exam on Thursday from 7 to 8. So around 8:10 to 9:10, will it be too late or should I cancel and have it only on Friday next week? Hare Krishna.
I have no problem, Mataji.
You'll be able to
It's
join
okay.
1 hour later, no? Okay. What about others?
Yeah, it's fine, Mataji.
It's fine, okay, because I think we are missing too many classes due to different reasons. So I thought that instead of canceling the class, I'll just take the class after the exam. So we can do chapter 11 next week, Thursday. Instead of 7, we'll do it at around 8. As soon as I finish the paper, I'll join. So maybe around 8:10 at the most, 8:15. By 8:15, we can keep the class. We'll keep a 45-minute class maybe, so it's not beyond 9. So 8:15 to 9 can be fine for next week, Thursday, and Friday back to the same time, 7 o'clock. 6:50, the chanting. Okay, thank you so much for. I hope all the rest of you also, Joy, Prabhu, Jalpa, Mataji, Prabhakar, Prabhu can join at 8:15. Okay. Right.
Okay,
All right, all right. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Babaji. So let's quickly look at this table. It's the same things that we have been saying. So the description of so many demigods and how among demigods who all are, who represent the opulence of Krishna. It's not like Krishna is not in the others. He's everywhere, but the opulences, they represent, Krishna. And among, again, so many sages have been mentioned. Again, the demigods, among so many animals. That is, Ucha, Shrava, Airavata, all these, Surabhi among cows and all. Law and crime, there's a whole list. Different qualities have come in. And again, among humans and kings, among Vedic mantras, Om, chanting of holy names. So this table, if we keep in our mind, what are the different things? Then even what happens is, we can remember Krishna all the time. We'll be able to, when we wonder how can we think of Krishna all the time, here is the answer for us. These are the different ways we can constantly keep Krishna in our mind. So then in 10.39, he says, I'm the generating seed and there is no being unmoving or moving without me. And I think we have done that also. And Krishna says that Krishna is the conqueror of enemies. There is no end to his divine manifestations. Yeah. And he says that whatever I've told you now, so many things Krishna has explained about himself, but he says that this is just a mere indication or the fraction of his real opulence. You cannot, it's infinite. So you can't even measure or describe, right? Even with the Ananta snake, with all his so many hoods, it goes on describing, it's never ending. The opulences of Krishna are never ending. So it is impossible for anyone to describe Krishna. So Krishna is saying in 10.41, know that all opulent, beautiful, glorious creations are just a spark of his splendor. Everything is Krishna, but all the opulences and beautiful and glorious creations itself just form a small spark of his entire splendor. So it's unimaginable. So in 10.41, Krishna is saying, Yad yad vibhutina यद्यद् विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमद्वर्जितमेव वा तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजोंश संभवम्. Which says, know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations come from a spark of my splendor. And this is the last verse. Today we have finished quite early, the 10th chapter. Do we want to start the 11th chapter for 10-15 minutes, or shall we do the 11th chapter next class? Anyway, let's do the last verse first. It says, Athava bahunaitena kingyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyahamidam kritsnam ekanchena sito jagat. So, but what need is there? So he says, Arjuna, why do you want to go on listening, for such a detailed knowledge? You just need to understand that the whole universe is pervaded and supported by Krishna with a small fragment of him. Then there's no use, and it's not even possible to keep on describing Krishna. The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as a super soul. So we will see in Srimad Bhagavatam that when creation happens, actually there is this Mahat Tattva. So all the different elements are all there first, and then Krishna, by just glancing at Prakriti, the entire the living things, they come into being. So Super Lord is represented throughout. So that's why he says he is the Aham Bijam, right? He is the father and the grandfather and the grandsire. And so he is the person who is all of our father. So he's our original father. So the Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in separate, opulence and grandeur. You should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as super soul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, the creator of the whole universe, and so many universes with so many Brahmas, and that Brahma, and down to the smallest ant, are all existing because the Lord has entered each and every, and he stays with all of them and sustains them. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to supreme personality. So here they have clarified, Srila Prabhupada is actually wanting to clarify that just because Krishna is saying that I am all the demigods, I am all the sages, I am, all these things. However, some people therefore try to conclude that if you pray to anyone, you ultimately pray to Krishna. But Krishna will explain so clearly that whatever you're praying, now these demigods are also part of this material universe. They are, of course, part of Krishna also. But then they are in different lokas, okay? So within the material world, we have all these demigods have their different locations within the material world. So when we pray to a demigod, we don't go to Krishna. Although Krishna is, of course, it is an expansion, is energy in the material world. But when we pray to demigods, we go to that respective demigod's loka. We don't go to Krishna loka, which is a spiritual world beyond the material world. So here Prabhupada has wanting to clarify to all of us that there is a mission that people regularly propound that if you worship any demigod, it's the same as worshipping the supreme. There is no difference at all. But worship of demigods is discouraged in the Bhagavad. There are verses which have clearly say that less intelligent people worship demigods simply because of lack of knowledge. It's not yet time, or they're not ready for the knowledge. So worship of demigods is discouraged herein because even greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva are only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He's the origin of everyone who is born, and no one is greater than him. So it's not about disrespecting those who are worshipping demigods. It's that once you understand the philosophy which Krishna is telling us and explaining to us, then we will respect all the demigods as part and parcel of Krishna. But we know that everything comes from Krishna. And when Krishna says that when we keep worshipping demigods, we will go to that world of demigods where it is temporary again. Again, we'll have to be there. We'll enjoy the pious activities, fruits that we have gained, and then we'll have to come back to the Martya Loka. In fact, the whole thing is a Martya Loka only. It's all temporary. So that is the reason why the ultimate knowledge is to understand that we need to pray to Krishna only, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to go back to Krishna. He is the origin of everyone born. No one is greater than him. He is a Samardha, which means no one can be superior or even equal to Krishna. No one. The Padma Purana, it is clearly said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna, in the Gita, Krishna keeps on telling us that no one can consider Krishna as same as demigods. Okay, he's the same as Brahma, the same as Vishnu. They are all expansions of Krishna. But then when you keep saying that, it is equivalent, according to Srila Prabhupada, to being an atheist, because you're not able to accept Krishna as a supreme Lord. You want to think that everybody is God, or like the Mayavadis, say that, oh, God is in everybody, so everything is God. Of course, everything is God. But then when you need to when you need to approach Krishna, you want to escape from this cycle of birth and death and come out of this material world. There is only one way, that is accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions and opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then you will understand without doubt the position of Lord Krishna, and you can fix your mind in the worship of Krishna without any deviation. So if you actually understand these verses very well, then you can understand Krishna as being the Supreme Person. The Lord is all pervading by the expansion of his partial representation and a super soul which enters into everything. Pure devotees concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service. Manmana bhava mad bhakto. Me. Krishna is saying me. He is not saying all, I worship everything. Pure devotees therefore concentrate their minds only in Krishna in full devotional service, and therefore they are always situated in transcendental, nothing material about it. Any demigods you approach, you will actually know, you can start feeling once you come to Krishna consciousness seriously, that it is all as soon as you approach a demigod, different material desires fulfillment, that starts coming in the mind. Oh God, can you do this? I want this. My daughter is not getting married, or this, different issues. You will be approaching them, because when they get pleased, they will bestow you with material blessings, whereas Krishna will not straight away bestow you with whatever you're asking, because he knows what is best for you as a soul, not as a material person who has to go through so many desires. He wants you to get rid of all your material desires. He wants you to come back to him. So the entire formula changes when it comes to Krishna in comparison to all the demigods. So devotional service and worship of Krishna are clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 to 11. That is a way of pure devotional service. How can one attain the highest devotional perfection of association with Krishna? It has been thoroughly explained. The Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, who is a great Acharya in disciplinic succession from Krishna, he concludes his commentary by saying, Yat Shakti Leshat Suryadaya Bhavantyati Ugraha Tejasa Yadam Shena Dhritam Vishwam Sa Krishno Dashamirchyate. So from Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Krishna is worshipable. So that we need to listen to these verses to understand why he is worshipable and to get it very clearly without a shadow of doubt. So Krishna supports and pervades the entire universe with a mere fragment. And the conclusion is that from Krishna's potent energy, the sun gets its power. By Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, he is worshipable. So chapter 10, what is it explaining? It's telling us how we can concentrate our mind in Krishna consciousness by continuously hearing the different opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy. It explains how to attain the highest devotional perfection of association with Krishna, and devotional service and worship of Lord are explained in the Chatushloki very well. 10.8 to 11 are very important verses, and therefore they are like considered to be the summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So Bija verses. So what we have done today, we have done the entire 10.12 to 10.42, where we saw how Arjuna accepted and his request. Earlier we saw Chatushloki, and we also saw Krishna's position. So with that, this class ends. I think it's too less time to begin a new chapter. So shall we end the class, or would you like to go through some of the slides which we missed out yesterday, the lectures of Srila Prabhupada? We will start tomorrow. We start next Thursday at 8:15 next, not tomorrow. What do you say, Hare Krishna? Can I have some suggestions as to what we should do?
Hare Krishna Mataji, we can continue the missed slides that we we
For
missed
another
yesterday.
10 minutes we have, no? Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
go back and Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Mataji.
So let me just go back to yesterday. There were a lot of lecture notes which I had put into the slide, but which we did not read because I thought we were going very slowly. Yes, somewhere here they are. Yes, so yes, we looked at this Aryan thing, and then I think this slide we skipped. No, this slide we did. Yeah, this slide we have not done. So let's look at this. This is actually coming from this entire thing is about the verse 10.4 and 5. It's a description which comes from 10.4 and 5, where Krishna was talking about how importance of human birth and how all these qualities are actually Krishna. That is intelligence, knowledge, fear, and fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity. All these are actually coming from Krishna. So we had seen that, and I think we didn't do this verse, these pages. Let me check once. Yeah, these last two pages we didn't do. Okay. So let's start reading from here a little bit. So if we don't utilize these things, simply we follow animal propensity, just like a dog is after a lady dog. Yeah, we didn't do this, I'm sure. Similarly, if we are like a hog after a female hog, this is not a civilization. It's not civilized. It's not a human purpose. So we must be sober. Srila Prabhupada is telling us that we must keep reminding ourselves that this human birth is unique and it's meant for us to realize what is our real aim, and we should be distinct from animal life. So actually, Srila Prabhupada tries to explain, and very sometimes brutally he will say, and this is called utilization of human form of life. It's called Labdhva Sudurlabham Idam. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.9.21, it's mentioned. After many births and deaths, it is that we achieve this human form of life, which, although temporary, affords the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. So, thus, a sober person, a human being, should quickly endeavor. It's actually, we shouldn't waste time at all. One of the important qualities of a devotee is avyartha kalatvam. It means he will not want to waste any time. He knows that this is my last, I want to make it my last birth and I want to give it my best. So the human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, because every breath we are actually approaching death. So, ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has fallen down and died. So, after all, sense gratification is available in any species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. So, it is stated in the Vedic literature, Labdhva Sudurlabham Idam Bahu Sambhavante. This body is achieved after many, many births. Can you imagine after like um, 80, how much is it? 82 lakh, I think so, right? How many? I forget.
84 lakhs.
84 lakh, yeah. So after 84 lakh species, we have got this body, so many millions and trillions of years. And even after getting human body, it's not like we immediately start knowing Krishna consciousness. It's through the grace of the pure devotees or the grace of Krishna himself that we, through the devotees, that we come to know about what is our real purpose, and we start detaching ourselves from all these sense gratification. Otherwise, even in the human birth, we go through so many karma and so many births. It goes on and on. So you don't think that all of a sudden by accident we got this human body. It is wrong to take this body for granted. There are cats' bodies, dogs' bodies. Why in the civilized form of, there must have been some process. So this is said in Vedic literature, Labdhva Sudurlabham Idam Bahu Sambhavante Manushya Marthadam. This human form is achieved after many millions of other forms of birth. And what is this form? Manusham, human form, man is Manushya. Is English, the English word is man. So there's a similarity as Srila Prabhupada is pointing out. Originally, Manusham or man comes from the word Manu. So Manu is actually the father of humankind, Manushyam. So why is it so rare? Arthadam. you can attain the highest perfection. Artha means money. Artha also means substance. Arthadam are missing the substance. We are attached by material money only. So, Manusha Arthadam Anitya Apiha, Dhira. And Anityam, although Arthadam, it can deliver you the substance, it is not permanent, it is Anitya. Nitya is eternal. So, Dhira means sober, intelligent. And how you shall utilize it? Turnam Yateta Anu Mrityu Napate Yavat. This is coming from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.9.29. You should try to utilize your human form of life to achieve the highest substance very soon. Turnam means very soon. Now, Anu Mrityuna Patet Yavat, you do not know when your death will come. Anu Mrityuna Patet Dav, you don't know. So, before death comes, you should utilize yourself. Don't think, oh, I'm a young man, let me enjoy now. Let me eat, drink, and be merry. No, I'll think about spirituality later. No, you can't neglect. It's not easy. So Prahlad Maharaj, 5 years old itself, he was instructed by Narad Muni and he became a very great devotee. In fact, in the womb itself, he was instructed. And he was instructing his class fellows. Such a small little boy, he was instructing his classmates. Actually, Prahlada's prayers are beautiful and amazing. You can't even understand how a little boy speaks about such high spirituality. When you get time, do read Prahlad Maharaj's prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very beautiful. It doesn't matter that you're small or you have to be young or you have to be old. Whatever is your age, it doesn't matter. You should understand that this is a time for us to get to try for us our getting going back to Krishna, going back to Godhead. There is no utilization of becoming a 500-year-old tree or 500-year-old stone. There is no utilization. If you become a 5-year-old boy and if you understand the knowledge, your life is perfect. So these things are all very nicely discussed. They say, oh, Taravah Kim Na Jivanti from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.18. So these are actually from lectures. That's why we have those, the way the flow is sometimes not like a book. It is like from a speeches. Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of blacksmiths not breathe? All around us, do the beasts not eat and discharge semen? So what is Srila Prabhupada trying to point out here? He says, oh, you're very much proud of your long duration of life because you see that cats and dogs die in 10 years, 12 years, and you are living for 70, 80 years. So you feel very proud. The answer is, Tarava Kim Na Jivanti. Don't you see the tree? The tree is living for 1,000 years. Oh, a tree lives, but it cannot breathe. Oh, Bhastra Kim Na Shwasanti. Don't you see the bellow, a bag of skin? Bhas, 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 it is breathing. So do you think your breathing is expertness? Well, they breathe, but they cannot enjoy sex life. Oh, what is that? The dogs and hogs, they do not enjoy sex life. Do they not eat? In this way, there is analysis. So he's trying to say how the mind tries to think, not understand the value of human life. So what are you so much proud? The proudness should be proved when you are in Krishna consciousness. That is the perfection of life. Otherwise, if you're not in Krishna consciousness, then you're similar to cats and dogs. So don't Srila Prabhupada is saying, don't think that I'm criticizing you. I'm just stating a fact. So this should be utilized. Then it is called intelligence. So remember, this was actually all about jnana. Long back, that verse, the whole jnana is being described in this verse. So this is called being free. Jnana is when you're free from bewilderment. So these are the process. Even if we study Bhagavad Gita nicely, analytically, sympathetically, I think systematically, maybe in any way with our intelligence, we have reasoning, then we become a perfect man. So this is Krishna consciousness. We should all take advantage of it. Don't spoil your life. That is our request. Srila Prabhupada is telling us, please don't spoil your life. This ISKCON, the society is for that purpose, to help us to go back, to help us become detached from this material world, to help us get attached to spiritual world so that we don't have to be lost in this bhavasagar. Right? Brahman Brahmite Keno Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Kripa Pai Bhakti Lata Bi. Something like that. It's a beautiful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's, the whole Brahman, so many living entities are going in circles and circles, one animal body, then human body, then some, again karmas and desires. But it is by the luck that you get a guru, and Krishna's grace that you come to know about Krishna consciousness, and then that Bhakti Lata, once Bhakti comes, that Bhakti Lata beach will go on growing and take you all the way to Krishna's lotus feet, and then you actually become free. So take advantage of this society which Srila Prabhupada is giving us. Don't spoil your life. The society is for the purpose to help us. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, we're not bluffing anybody, that make exercise and go home. No, it's not like the different yogis, the yoga teachers, they say, come, I'll teach you yoga, and they'll make you do some exercise and then you go home. That's it. So here is something substantial. Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain to us. Don't take it like just some yoga that Gita, they're talking about so many yoga, some yoga. No, this is something very substantial, and we must try to understand it, and we must try to stay in ISKCON and understand and use it to. This is the movement to escape from this material world, Bhava Sagar, this entire material world. Sansara Dava Nagalidha Loka. And also in Cheto Darpanam, right? Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So Bhava Mahadavagni, it's like a big forest fire, this universe. And so we need to escape from it. We need to, only through chanting and through reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we can escape from it. So I think there were some other places also where I had skipped some lines. Yeah, maybe somewhere here also. Yeah, I think from here I had not read. But I can't remember which pages I missed out. Okay, but it's now 8. So I request all of you to, this is today's class. So I request everyone to continue on this path and to utilize this beautiful ISKCON movement, which is providing us the means to escape from this world, from this material world. So Hare Krishna, thank you so much for staying with me. Please come next class at 8:15. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Dandavat.
Nice class, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.